Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Let's Be Real. I'm James, your host for today's episode. I'm thrilled to be joined once again by the one and only Movie Games lad, Nayan. How we doing, man?
I'm good, mate. Had a good weekend. My sports team finally won.
Finally.
Well,
The Warriors?
the Warriors.
Yes.
They're one that's showing promise for the season, so hopefully they can keep it up for the next few rounds. And I'm accompanied here by my beautiful Nayslayer bear, named after me, I hope. But yeah, let's get into this.
Definitely named after you for sure. And yeah, that's probably the last Warriors win of the season. You say this every single season.
Yeah, well, fuck you. This is our year.
It's the Sixers year as well.
Yeah.
We can both win this.
Surely.
The Sixers won today, so I'm doing well. But no, it's been a tiring weekend. And we're doing this on a Sunday, which is kind of nice.
We are.
Not straight after work, so I'm feeling a little bit good for this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Much.
All right. So before we get started, if you got any questions or thoughts on what we're discussing, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or TikTok, and we may just feature you on the show. And hey, if you want even more of our content, make sure you head to our website, moviegames.com, for all the latest box office coverage, 4K UHD reviews, film rankings, and award season updates. Also, be sure to follow our email newsletter to keep up to date with everything that we post. Thanks to everyone who's joining in today. We appreciate you. But anyway, let's get to it. So, on today's show, we're going to be covering several topics. The first is The Last of Us review. Tom Cruise says The Flash is good. Will Shazam Fury of the Gods be a flop? Avatar 3 might also be a Disney Plus series. Ted Lasso Season 3 premiere review. And just a discussion on our MCU Phase 1 and Phase 2 rankings. So yeah, exciting show ahead. Let's do this.
Let's get into it.
All right, so first topic, we're going to be talking about the Last of Us series. Now, I myself have unfortunately not seen any of the episodes. I've just been so busy. I know I've been missing out. I've seen all the commentary behind it. But it's definitely a show that I will make sure I have the time to invest in it. And I haven't played the games either, so yeah. But Nayan has played the games. He's watched the series now. So, Nayan, overall thoughts on The Last of Us. What do you think?
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was really it definitely broke the mold of, the classic video games trope, how like video game films or stuff that's transitioned into live media has become shit. I think this definitely broke that mold. It didn't deviate from the story too much.
Mm-hmm.
It pretty much like kept to what the game did in series, like even going as far as like scene by scene, word by word as well, which is fantastic. So it's definitely it's definitely good in terms of the game fan base and paying homage to them and respecting the source material. In terms of the characters or actors and / actress, Bella Ramsey as Ellie and Pedro Pascal as Joel. Mm-hmm. They were both great. Pedro Pascal, when he got announced as portraying Joel, everyone was like, really?
Yeah.
But then like pretty much the first scene that you see him and he like captures that character to like nails it down to a T. Pretty much. Bella Ramsey, on the other hand, she did get a bit there was more controversy surrounding her.
Yeah.
Is there better actresses out there to portray Ellie? Probably. But I think she did fantastic in this job. I think she nailed it and really captured that or the persona of Ellie, that wise ass potty mouth sort of young little kid.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. So comparing it to the game, you would still stick with the game being better as in terms of storytelling?
Yeah. Just because like you have something that's crammed into 9 hours compared to something that's like
it extends
12
a lot
plus,
more. Right, yeah. No, I get that. So Pedro Pascal was good. Bella Ramsey was good. Yeah. What about the technical side of things in terms of how it's shot, how it looks, all that stuff?
I think the cinematography was excellent. I think you definitely notice that like over the first 4 episodes, you can notice like how like true it has been to the game. Yeah. Sort of stuff, like cinematography wise. It's like pretty much not really panel for panel, but game scene to scene. Yeah. It's good. The visuals for it is good as well. Yeah. They really nailed down the concept of the or the look and the feel of the zombies in there. Yeah. From the runners to the clickers and whatnot. Yeah. pretty much exactly the same as what is in the games.
That's good then.
Even the sound,
Mhm.
sounds, especially the clickers, like they sound exactly as they do in the game, and like as soon as you hear it, you just like your heart drops because you're like, oh god, these characters are fucked.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, there's obviously a score to the game. Does that translate identical, or is there changes to the score?
Pretty much very similar. It's like
Yeah.
the score on both the game and
Mm-hmm.
the series is great.
Yeah.
They really keep her like they really nail it in terms of like the couple of guitar strums,
Yeah.
string stuff. That's what Last of Us is like, somewhat not iconic, but like that's their go-to theme. It's just like a couple like slow sort of guitar riffs here and there.
Yeah.
And that's what they brought over into the TV series, and it sounds pretty much very similar, if not exact, to what the game is. So I'm happy with the score.
That's good. That's good. So the season 1, it covers essentially the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So is it a complete story? Does it wrap up all the storyline, the character arcs, and whatnot?
Yep.
Yeah.
It pretty much does. It's pretty much you get the full game,
Mm-hmm.
or the first whole game. You get this into 9 somewhat episodes.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's 9 episodes and
Mm-hmm.
it's not quite that hour mark sort of run times for each episode. So
Yeah.
they did have to cut and change and stuff. So there are some stuff that they didn't miss. But in terms of the overall story, pretty much from start to finish, they wrapped the first game up nicely.
That's good. Yeah. So obviously season 2 will be The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah,
the game.
they're thinking of splitting that into 2 seasons.
Do you think they should do that?
I think so. Sorry, not season 2. The second game is a big game.
Yeah.
There's some massive moments as well. Like people are gonna lose their shit when they see what happens in that.
Yeah.
When it comes on air, unless they play the games beforehand.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good decision to split the season up into 2.
Well, that's good then. Yeah, no, because by that point, I will have hopefully played the games, or hopefully I've watched season 1. I will have watched season 1. I know that much. It will take a while to complete, I'm sure, especially if they're going to split it. So it's probably like 2 years away, 2024, maybe the end of it, or the start of 25.
Pretty much, yeah. It depends on when they want to start filming as well, because they sort of need to let Bella Ramsey grow in terms of like.
Is there a massive age difference between the 2 games?
Yeah.
How old? Yeah. What's the time jump then?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I think I could be wrong. It's between 6 to 10. I feel.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but she's definitely more of an adult than she is as a kid.
You could do a lot with like makeup and that writing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can, but I think they'll be able to nail it. I think what they'll do is they'll work on the script first, which might take a couple years.
Yeah,
and then they'll dive into shooting.
Plenty of time for me then. But no, what you're saying here does get me excited. I really do want to check it out. So yeah, no, you seem to have really enjoyed it. So overall rating out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah, what are you going to give it?
I would give it a 9.2 out of 10.
9.2.
9.2.
Damn, is that's the highest thing I think you've rated this year? No, because I think John Wick was a little bit lower.
Yeah. I think it definitely deserves that rating, just in terms of like on a not filmmaking but TV making aspect. Like they nail pretty much every category, like screenplay, performances, and the technical side.
Yeah,
and then just how they managed to stay so close to the source material without deviating so much.
Yeah,
it's just another bonus.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a fine balance to walk, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
sounds like it did it here.
Yeah,
no, that's cool. That gets me excited though. But yes, moving on. So this one, I think this one's funny to me because I can't believe it fully, but Tom Cruise, he's come from Top Gun Maverick. He's got Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1 coming out. One's very anticipated and looks amazing. We've heard good things from the test screenings. And then one was genuinely really great and got nominated for Best Picture and a bunch of other awards. So the guy who's behind this, Tom Cruise, he is, I wouldn't call him the mastermind, but he's definitely the lead in terms of making these things what they are.
I'd say he's a mastermind.
Yeah. I mean...
especially for Top Gun, I feel
he's a stunt mastermind. But yeah, no, apparently someone from Warner Brothers had got The Flash movie coming out in June this year, the Ezra Miller story, and took it to his house and watched it with him and then took it back to Warner Brothers. Apparently, Tom Cruise went or cold called the director
Mm-hmm.
and said that the movie was good. Said that the movie is something that we need right now.
Yeah.
And these are very interesting words. Like saying a movie's good and cold calling a director, it's just like might be common courtesy in that kind of industry. But to say it's the movie we need right now is very that's very high praise. The very few movies kind of have that feel to them. So, what do you think about this whole thing with Tom Cruise loving the Flash?
Yeah, it's interesting because when we did our most anticipated list for 2021, 2022 and 2023,
Yeah.
I had the Flash on my top 10 for 2022, and then it obviously got delayed. And then this year I had it in my
Least
in my
anticipated.
least anticipated. And then there's reports of James Gunn coming out and saying like this film is probably one of the best comic book films ever.
Yeah.
And then now this from Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise, he rarely comments on this comic book.
Exactly.
Sort of stuff, and for him to for this report to come out, and pretty much praising the Flash, that got me thinking. It's like, fuck, maybe I should have kept it in my top 10.
Probably should.
Probably should have, but yeah, I think I guess it's either a brilliant marketing strategy for a shit film, and if it pulls off, kudos to Warner Brothers, or it could actually be legit in it being a fantastic film, despite the controversies behind not only the franchise but the actor and everything else.
Yeah.
In terms of his comments about the film we need right now, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's so much superhero content that comes out, and we can sort of start to see the decline in terms of box office and whatnot.
Yeah.
From those films, and same with from a critical standpoint.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure as to what the Flash would be doing different from those other ones.
Yeah.
If he's saying that, then there must be, it's either based on the story, because it's based on the comic book Flashpoint where he goes back, where Flash goes back in time, saves his mother, and then he comes back to the future, and it's all different to what he knows. So I think maybe Tom Cruise could be speaking on that sort of concept, sort of thing, like similar to Back to the Future, is like something that we don't see enough nowadays.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he might be saying. In regards to, it's definitely something we need right now. It's just something different, fresh from like a comic book or in filmmaking sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is that line is the one that gets me because, something like Top Gun Maverick, I think it was something that we needed from theatrical release standpoint, and just it was a movie where everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Your middle-aged dad loved it. His wife loved it. Just the kids loved it. The young adults loved it. It was just a movie that everybody loved and enjoyed, and it's such a cinematic experience, that movie. And I don't know how The Flash could top something like that.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise is the one who's was behind Top Gun Maverick. So for him to say this, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But I think I need to hear him say that and
in like an interview or something.
Yeah, because it's like you said, it could be amazing marketing. And when James Gunn said that, I'm like, okay, cool. You're just trying to cover up the controversies. You just want this to work so it can make sense for your DC chapter that's coming in 2025.
Yeah.
I thought it was all about that. And so everyone would see the Flash. But now it gets interesting. Now there's a little bit more substance to what this movie will be.
Because you have somewhat of an outsider making those comments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not someone who's behind in DC organizing shit. So yeah, it gets me a little bit excited. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this could actually be quite fun. I did enjoy that trailer.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to the movie now. I don't know whether it will be good, but yeah, I think the Ezra Miller controversies are something that really kind of shadowed this movie.
100%.
And I think as bad as they were and as annoying it was to hear all this kind of stuff, it's a good reminder to when you're looking at a film, step back from that stuff and just see if it's not going to affect the movie because it's his own personal life that's affecting it. It's nothing on set, it's nothing to do with behind the scenes. So his controversies will not affect the outcome of this movie, and we have to remember that. So The Flash could be a good movie, but I'm not I'm not counting on it just yet.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more. We'll wait for those reactions to come out. Yeah. Then we'll see. But are you looking forward to the Flash now?
Yeah, ever since the trailer
Yeah.
dropped during the Super Bowl, it got me excited.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure as soon as that trailer dropped, I was like, shit, I definitely should have included it in my top 10. And then James Gunn made his comments. Now Tom Cruise made his comments. I was like, shit.
Got a fucking fly in my face. Go away.
Bro, first it was a moth and now it's a fly.
It's so annoying. All right. So we're going to move on to more DC shenanigans. Shazam, Fear of the God, that releases this weekend. We got to see it a few days ago now. I think it was Wednesday of this week. We enjoyed it. We liked it.
We did, yeah.
We thought it was good. Not as strong as the first, but good, solid, fun movie. It seems like most people have agreed with it. I think it's in the 50s now, though, with RT.
It's rotten.
Yeah. But from what I've heard from just people, I think they've just enjoyed it. Nothing more, nothing less kind of thing. But yeah, no, it doesn't seem like many people are going to go see it. So it's very, very interesting. We forecasted this movie to open up to just over 31 million for the weekend. It had its first day yesterday. It just got announced this morning. It made 11 million on its opening day. And that's including Thursday night previews. So it could be looking at around 26 to 30 million opening weekend.
Yeah.
Under 30 million weekend for one, a comic book movie, and two, a movie that its first movie opened up to 55 million. Now, we were talking about this briefly just before, that it needed 312 million to break even. 312 million to break even. The first movie made 366 million. And yeah, that will open up about at least 22 million higher than this first one. So it's looking grim. It's looking like it's going to lose money. We'll see how the international box office results come through tomorrow. But it looks like DC has a legitimate flop on its hand.
Yep.
I don't think they care, though, because they're starting fresh, starting new.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got two questions for you. What are your thoughts about Shazam opening very, very low? I mean, you've had Scream, Creed. Like, they're going to almost double this kind of opening, for one. And then what is this saying about superhero movies now?
A lot of things to unpack here.
Sorry. I should ask one at a time.
Your first question is pretty much I could have told you as soon as I saw that trailer. Remember how we watched the trailer? I was like, I felt like as I've seen the whole movie.
Yeah.
I think that can be brought into this comment now. How like people have pretty much saw the whole movie in that trailer, so they don't feel to go to the cinema.
Yeah.
And because the critic reviews have just been so shit, they're like, okay, I'm definitely not going to go see it now.
Yeah.
So that could affect that. And then with Scream and Creed, they're like both very good and solid films. So I can easily see like one of those two films like jumping back in the number one spot at the box office next week.
Yeah.
Oh no,
John Wick will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ahead of Shazam.
Yeah. What was the second question? Oh, superhero movies in general.
Yeah.
I think because it had pretty much two shits in a row. You know, we had Ant-Man and now this.
Yeah. Both rotten, both underperforming massively at the box office.
And we both thought that both films were fine. Like they obviously had their flaws, but
yeah.
I definitely think superhero fatigue is kicking in, and I 100% blame Marvel for it in their Phase 4, where they like pushed out 3 movies a year and 3 TV series.
It was 4
TV,
4 movies, 4 TV. Yeah, 4 TV series.
I think that was just a little bit too much. I think they got very ambitious.
Yeah.
At the end of Endgame, and so that's starting to affect that. And then you have that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that you have the DC EU, which is just known for not producing good content. They probably only have like 3, maybe 4 films, if that are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That are good. So people, when they see Shazam, they're like, oh, it's part of this universe that is already fucking shit.
Yeah.
Why should we spend our money to see something? And then obviously with it restructuring now,
absolutely,
pretty much the next 2 films, The Flash and Aquaman, is going to be made irrelevant.
Written off,
Yeah, so people will be. I reckon people will go see Flash just in terms of how it can retcon the entire franchise. But in terms of Aquaman, that's probably going to flop as well because no one's going to care. They're like, okay,
Interesting.
Okay, this whole universe is done, and we're getting a new one in 2 years' time.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just going to pause on this though. I'm going to go out and kill this fly because it's pissing me off, and then we'll resume the podcast very shortly. All right, so I've got some fly spray to kill this fly, and he's hidden from us now. So I got the fly spray in one hand, and so I might be able to kill a fly live. So enjoy that sideshow. But yeah,
this cunt is hiding, and he's waiting for the opportune moment to come in.
so annoying.
I can fully see the fly land on James's drink there, and just James unwillingly spraying on it.
I don't care at that point. It's a worthy sacrifice to get rid of the drink, to get rid of this fly.
Not for the nayslayer.
Oh, yeah, you make a good point there. I couldn't get rid of the nayslayer.
Anyway, enough of this fucking fly until it's dead. What are your thoughts on Shazam?
Okay, so Shazam flopping at the box office, and it will be a flop. I don't think there's much doubt about it, especially with John Wick and Dungeons and Dragons and Mario Bros coming out. Its audience is going very rapidly.
Yeah.
I don't think Warner Brothers cares too much. I think their marketing campaign was very weak.
Especially if they show what.
Yeah,
I can say it. Wonder Woman in that TV spot,
Yeah, I think you can say it now. People have seen it, and people that haven't seen it yet don't want to see it, and it's all over the internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you covered it very nicely with how DC is restructuring towards the future. I think the majority of box office comes from the casual moviegoer. It doesn't come from fans like you and I.
Yeah.
The aim of a studio is to market their movies in a way to attract the common folk, the random people that are going to walk in and be like, which poster looks cool? So that movie looks cool. That's playing on the screen when they go to see session times and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's who they want to appeal to because fans will see it regardless. And this movie, it doesn't look that good from a casual perspective. It's like you said, they showed the whole movie, so it's not going to really intrigue interest.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to The Flash and Aquaman, I think Aquaman is very strong because it releases at the end of the year when box office just goes bananas over the holiday period. So it gets a healthy boost from that regardless. And I do think The Flash is almost destined to fail.
You reckon?
They can market the Batman as much as they want in it because that's what they're trying to get.
I feel that's what they're doing as well.
But Batman is no longer the popular box office draw that he was. They've killed the character.
As in DCU? Or?
Just DC in general. Like, in terms of box office, the character of Batman is no longer the draw that he is. And for a while, I thought Spider-Man was that, especially with the Amazing Spider-Man's not doing so well.
Mm-hmm.
But he revived himself. And, look at the Batman. That was a good Batman movie, and it only made $750 million.
Was that R-rated?
No, it's PG-13. And then you got Dark Knight Rises getting like over $1 billion, and then even Batman vs Superman failed at the box office. That was beginning and the end. Yeah, but it still made more, and I know the excitement for that was huge. Because it was Batman again.
I don't think I've ever been more excited for a film than Batman vs Superman.
That's definitely a top 3 anticipated for me. That was just ridiculous, and failed on every expectation ever.
Even the fight was underwhelming. Maybe this is a podcast for another day.
It was, but I mean, I just want to add to that. I remember when you and I we weren't so familiar with each other, and we're working at Hoyt's.
And
then I remember we were cleaning us sitting together. It was just dead quiet, just me and you. And then just like, you're like, oh, what do you think about Batman Superman? Yeah. I was like, oh.
It's back when I didn't like James.
I was like, oh, it was okay. It had its flaws. And then you're like, yeah. And we just hear the depression in each other's voices. It was not a good time.
And that's how me and James became best friends.
Through Batman. But no, I don't think The Flash is going to do that well. I think you're looking at a $500-600 million movie. Yeah. But in terms of superheroes and where they're going on, I guess, an interest in box office level. I don't think it's superhero fatigue just yet. I think it's just the casual moviegoer having a higher standard for their movies now, or their superhero movies, because there's so much of them, and they're easy entertainment. And so when there's so much of them, when you have a cost of living crisis going that's global and all that stuff, people are going to be a lot picky. And so when you're releasing these things that are getting bad reception from critically and word of mouth, they're going to be like, okay, I can wait. And the wait time to see these movies is much shorter than it used to be. It used to be like 3 months, and now it's like a month and a half.
Yeah, and even some, it's just a couple of weeks, then boom, it's on streaming.
Exactly, yeah. So people can just wait for this kind of stuff now. So that plays into it. I cannot definitively say whether superhero movies are going down just yet. Shazam and Ant-Man aren't the type of characters or franchises to really, they don't have that weight to them, that expectation. Like, they're doing shit, don't get me wrong, but they're not the ones. If you saw like the Batman doing this, bro, like you'd be like, oh, fuck, like they're in trouble. For Marvel and DC to be worried, I think we'll see how Guardians does. We'll see how Spider-Verse does, and the Flash and Aquaman. They will have some indication there as well, but we'll have to wait for that. And if they start doing really bad, this could be the beginning of the end for superhero movies. I think I'd welcome it.
You'd welcome it?
I loved the Infinity Saga, and I had the best time with it. And I don't want them to go. I just want them to. I'm be happy if they died down.
Less is more. There's like a common business.
Yeah.
I hear the fly. James is getting up. He's ready. What? He sprayed on me.
Anything to kill the fly.
So I just got a face full of fly spray. So, thanks for the air freshener. Jesus Christ.
I think I missed it, but I got you. So
if I pass out in the midway of my sentence, you guys can blame James for spraying me with fly spray and then air freshener straight away. Oh my God, this is such an entertaining podcast. I really hope you guys are listening to this because this is a roller coaster. Holy shit.
This fly is causing all sorts of havoc.
Yeah.
But I might be the nayslayer after this because he's going to pass out from fly spray.
James is a nayslayer. I don't even know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't even know where we're going. We're just going to move on. I think we covered Shazam being a shit show at the box office well enough. We're going to move on to Nayan's second favorite franchise, Avatar. I just saw The Fly again. I'll do my best to ignore this one. All right, so we're going to move on to the Avatar franchise. Avatar 2, it made $1 gazillion again. I don't know how it did it.
Is it 2.1 or 2.2?
It's near, I think it's like 2.29.
Right.
So it'll hit 2.3 by the end of its run.
Yeah.
Third movie to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These movies have a global attraction. I don't know why they get so much money. They're good, but they're
I can understand the first one because it's so revolutionary. Maybe the second one as well, I can somewhat understand because it's been like, 12, 13 years since the release and that huge technological advancement. But I guess Avatar 3 would be the real test because that all just slims down. It's just more of the same.
Exactly, yeah. But at this point, I don't think Disney can say really no to anything James Cameron really requests. Yeah. Because he just brings in, he's just a moneymaker for them.
I mean, 2 films, that's almost $5 billion.
Yeah.
In total.
But we've had a new report come out regarding Avatar 3. There's no title for that just yet. But the new report it suggests, and it's rumored, that Avatar 3, it will be a theatrical release in its theatrical cut form, but later on released as a 9-hour Disney Plus limited series. Because we heard the report about a couple months ago that there was the Avatar 3 cut was 9 hours.
Yeah.
And James Cameron wanted all of the VFX done before cutting it.
Yeah.
And so you could just see Disney pushing this towards a limited series. So yeah, a couple questions with this one again. Do you agree with that the visual effects should be all done before cutting it? And would you like to see an Avatar 3 limited series release on Disney Plus after the theatrical cut of Avatar 3 releases? It's like the director's cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer to your first question is yes. I mean, if you're going to make a film,
Mm.
make it
Yeah.
to its completion.
Mm-hmm.
James Cameron definitely has that pull power. 100% has that pull power to dictate what he wants.
Yeah.
This is his vision at the end of the day. This is literally his franchise that he's created
Mm-hmm.
many moons ago. So I feel that the studio should give him justice to let him,
Yeah.
complete the film in its
Mhm.
entirety.
Yeah.
And then from there, he can chop and choose
Mm-hmm.
what scenes to use and whatnot.
Yeah.
In terms of it being a Disney Plus series, I mean, this whole entire, not Avengers, Avatar,
Just my own company.
because we're, let's be real, and we're sponsored by Odd Company unofficially.
Yeah. We're gonna get that partnership
Yeah.
one day.
I really hope someone from Odd Company listens to us, but they probably won't because of how chaotic our show is. Anyway, in regards to it being a short series, I still think in my mind, and I know that you've said this countless times as well, James, is that Avatar is made for the cinema, the big screen.
Yeah.
It's just not the same on a smaller screen.
Yeah.
I mean, same can be said for Top Gun Maverick as well.
Yeah.
So I think that rule applies here as well. Like, yes, obviously James Cameron.
Too many Jameses.
Yeah. James, I got 3 on my mind right now because you're James as well.
Yeah.
James Cameron, obviously he wants to get his vision out, but you can't expect people to sit in the cinema for 9 hours. That's just that's unrealistic and uneconomical as well.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the Disney Plus series, it's probably the best way to see his full vision.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, if he's releasing the theatrical cut, and then we see that, and then X amount of months later, he releases this 9-hour cut on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That's fine. But if I was releasing simultaneously, I'd be like, nah.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah. I was like, nah, you need to let one to breathe. And if you're going to let one to breathe, you push that series back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I would watch it very slowly.
Yeah.
Very slowly. But yeah, I think if we want to get the full vision of James Cameron in this Avatar universe, I think that this is the most feasible way to do it.
Yeah, I'm mostly interested in because there's obviously Avatar 4 and 5 on the release slate now. They release every 2 years, from 22. So if there's a 9-hour cut here, are we gonna have is it the same issue with Avatar 4 and 5? Like, why can't this movie just be cut into Avatar 3, 4, and 5? If it needs to be in there, and it feels like James Cameron, based on these reports, that he needs to have that in the cut. Yeah, and I know James Cameron enough that he is a supporter of the theatrical release. He's a fan of the cinema and the big screen and whatnot. And so I think he would only allow this to happen. And mark my words, when I say allow, I mean allow. If he said no, Disney would just back off. Like, they would trust his vision. So if he's allowing this, if this is going to become a real thing, then he wants that vision to be out there. He wants people to see it. I don't see people seeing it, and I feel like you would absolutely milk the franchise to death if you did this.
Yeah.
Like you just said before about Avatar 1, on a technological standpoint, it changed everything. Everyone was interested. And then the second one, to a degree, did the same thing. And so the third one will be a test in time because the advancement in terms of its visual effects and technology will be much more limited than what we've had. So, yeah, I mean, and then you have a series with it. It's like the MCU again.
Yeah.
It's like everything that we get in this life now
needs to have a spin-off or
and a series. I'm over it, and I couldn't imagine a casual audience sitting down and watching 9 hours of this on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
No one has that time these days. Yeah. So I do not want to see this on Disney Plus. It is not for the small screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen stuff like, those kind of movies like, Dunkirk, Top Gun Maverick, 1917. I've seen them on the small screen, and they're good movies. They're great movies, but they're not, they don't feel or hit the same as they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that James Cameron can cut this down. I'm 50-50. I want to see this version, but I don't want to see this on a small screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Would you sit 9 hours in a cinema to watch it if you had like 3 intermission breaks?
I thought you were gonna say all at once. Oh, that's a whole day, bro. I don't know if I could do that. Is it releasing simultaneously with Avatar 3?
Sure.
Sure. Oof. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I'd want to do it. I probably would do it because, I love movies and I'm on Let's Be Real and with Movie Games, so I'd watch it for that kind of sake. But nothing brings me happiness of sitting in a movie theater for 9 hours in a day. And then, yeah. Could you do it?
No.
No.
Not for Avatar.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it for Lord of the Rings.
We did do it, yeah.
And that's because it's a franchise that I really love.
That's a trilogy as well. That's like
yeah.
different movies. It's not just one 9-hour cut of Return of the King, for instance. You know?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I'd either have to be pissed or something.
Or like drunk or like pissed off. Oh, right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kiwi slang here. Yeah, I need to have a decent amount of drinks in me before I go there, and drinks obviously throughout. If I were to suffer through 9 hours of Avatar, but yeah,
Suffer. You mean get pleasure from?
only visually.
That's all that matters. Yeah. I would. Yeah, I need something. If it released later down the line and say Avatar 3 is like a masterpiece, like really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like let's say it's like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like a Top Gun Maverick, Mad Max, Fury Road, Revenant kind of movie.
Yeah.
Then I'd sit through 9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But
not simultaneously.
Yeah, but if it's like Avatar 2, which I do really love that movie, I could not do 9 hours of it. I don't need 9 hours of swimming with whales and clapping or whatever they do, jumping around.
Getting eaten by a whale.
Yeah. And like bonding with it like inside its mouth. Tolkien writer. Okay, yeah. But I think that sums up our feelings about Avatar 3 and a Disney Plus series regarding that pretty nicely.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to Ted Lasso now. And I don't know how popular Ted Lasso is. If everyone's listening, I don't know if much people. I think it's fairly popular now.
It has to be. I mean, it's gotten the Premier League sponsorship rights in terms of wearing the same kit and stuff. It's won numerous Emmys.
Oh yeah,
well.
absolutely.
So it's definitely making waves. I just don't know if people are actually tuning in.
I know it's Apple's biggest property, which they're paying like Jason Sudeikis like $1 million per episode now. But yeah, no, the episode 1 dropped for season 3. It's been about a year and a half wait.
Yeah,
it's been a long time. I remember starting it in lockdown in New Zealand here, and it was just the boost of like positivity and a wholesome thing that I needed at that time, because we get a lot of good content now, but it's usually like kind of like dark and like quite impactful emotionally. This is just kind of something different, changing up the spices, and I spread it to everyone I knew, and they really caught fire. Yeah, which is how you came along to it.
Roy Kent.
Huh?
Roy Kent. My spirit animal.
You're Nate the Great.
I'm not Nate.
Nate the Great.
No, that guy's a cunt.
You're season 3, Nate.
I am no. Okay, sure. All right, I'm leaving movie games now to go to a competitor.
I won't name any competitors. No, yeah. Okay, so episode 1 dropped. You've seen it, I presume?
No.
Have you not seen it?
No, I have.
No, you have?
Yeah.
All right, so it was a good juicy length. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was fine in terms of like a first episode. It somewhat planted the seeds of where we're going to see this season pretty much go towards.
Yeah.
It was very Ted Lasso-y, so to speak. It didn't deviate from the formula or whatnot. It was just a standard episode of Ted Lasso. So they stuck to the formula and it works. It worked here. They did tease somewhat of Ted like embracing his more darker side throughout this episode, and I wish he did in that press conference scene. If anyone that has watched this episode, they'll know what I'm talking about. But I sort of wish he just went, just embraced that side and like was more uncharacteristic from himself. That would have just like freshened up his character and
I
probably the
feel like
season.
that changes, or like that's not what the show's about.
Yeah, it's not, but
Mm.
it's definitely a surprise. Like it'll
Yeah.
be like, oh shit, this wholesome character that always has the shit together, somewhat like
Mm.
in the public eye, is
Yeah.
just suddenly snapping. Like,
Mm.
oof,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fine. As a first episode in a season can be, it's always about that setup, and then the
Yeah.
episodes following on is that's when we get into the more juicy, meatier side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like I'm with you that I wanted to see Ted Lasso snap at that point in
Yeah.
the show because it felt justified, but I do think him not doing that is, it's a reflection of what the show's all about.
Yeah.
It's teaching us to be better people and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the whole purpose of the show. Just it's about just good people doing good things for others and stuff like that. And so if you saw Ted Lasso snap, it's kind of like it goes against what the entire show is about.
Yeah.
So it sticks to its roots, I guess, and that's all well and good. I do hope we get a movie, or not a movie, like a moment where he does snap. I hope this builds up because, at some point, like with Ted Lasso and what's Nate the Great's doing, at some point that has to get to a person. Like that's
Yeah.
like deep betrayal.
I feel if he's going to snap to anyone, it'll either be Coach or I forgot her character's name, the owner of Richmond.
Yeah. Um, I would rather just see him snap at Nate straight to his face.
That'd be good.
Yeah, because they'll like kind of freak Nate out. But we got a lot more of Nate the Great than I thought we would.
We did.
Yeah. Well, like, what do you think about him and how the series or like this season's going to treat his turn to the dark side?
Well, we can see he's a lot more of a cunt.
That's a way to put it.
That's for sure. Like his ego has got the bit better of him.
Yeah,
for sure. But he's still that little pussy inside, like that press conference. He's getting asked these questions, and he just went back into like his shell, and he had to like go under the desk to do his whole spit thing before he came out all confident.
Yeah,
he just he so that's a flaw in him as this eager like person that's is it egotistical? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Self, like he still has that soft spot, like where he just can't deal with stuff until he has that spit in the mirror sort of moment.
Yeah.
But I think with him being next to Rupert or under Rupert's wing, I
Mhm.
think we're gonna see him break away from that mold and just become a lot more confident, cocky, arrogant, everything that pretty much people hate. That makes you want to boo him. So we'll definitely see that a lot more. And then the fact that he went from Richmond to West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah.
As well. So when that eventful match happens, it's going to be one for the ages. And I really hope it's not like with most of these soccer scenes throughout the show, it's like 5 minutes of soccer or football, sorry. And then it just cuts to the story. I really hope, I feel this whole show is building up to that moment.
Yeah.
Somewhat, like West Ham versus Richmond. So I feel at least half the episode should just be based on that game.
Yeah, I felt
Personally.
like season 2 wasn't enough football in it.
Yeah.
You kind of forgot that it was a show based on a football team and a coach and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I hope we get back to that. And I think episode 1 kind of showed us that in a way, that it is going to be a little bit more about the football and the building up to West Ham and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of Nate the Great's turn, I think you covered it pretty well. He's clearly still that guy deep down.
Yeah.
He just needs to go through his
process.
Process to like he's just being someone that he's not, and he's just dealing with that.
And he doesn't quite believe in that as well.
Yeah. I think he's just really trying to do it for his parents, as you see like their texting conversation and stuff like that. So and now he's got like a nice Aston Martin car.
Oh, so jealous.
Yeah.
He went from a shitty Mini to an Aston Martin in like the space of a day.
Yeah, good old Rupert, eh?
Wish I had a boss like that. Hey, boss, can you buy a Lamborghini? Yeah, sure thing, no problem.
Just write it off the first day.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but no, I mean, they've said that, and they've doubled down on this, that season 3 is the last season.
Yeah, which is a
And
shame.
they keep sticking to it. They keep saying, "Oh, we've written it this way," and la di da, and that's all well and good. I like a complete, full vision. Apple is going to be fighting tooth and nail to get them to come back for season 4 because it's their biggest property.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I felt like we were getting or like a tease of the final, or like the end of Ted Lasso here.
Yeah.
You know, just complications with his son and proposing questions of like, why are we here in London and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels like
that as in that walk with Coach.
Pardon? Yeah. Like he's gonna want to like head back by the season end. But then I wonder, like, they have to win the Premier League at some point, you know, from that last scene in season 1 where it's like we're gonna win the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that has to come to a completion.
Or even if not winning, just being in that final.
Yeah, and beating West Ham in the final. Oh, that would be good. But just beating West Ham, I guess. But it's going to be very interesting if they've written it like the final one. It seems like they got a lot of ground to cover to get there, based on the football team and all the characters. And then you got everything with Roy Kent and what's her name?
Keely.
Pardon?
Keely,
yeah. And just that I felt like that was random, and that was kind of out of the blue.
It was, but it was addressed by the niece.
Like, they talked about it, but like I thought they were very strong at the end of the last season, and then just now, and you got Jamie coming in. It might be like a love triangle situation. I don't know how that's going to play out or why it's even happening, but I guess we'll see. Yeah. But we're all happy that Ted Lasso is back, I'm sure. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna move on now. So recently, we have done some lists on MCU phases. We keep talking about the MCU.
First two phases up on moviegames.com. If you want to go check them out.
Yep. So basically, what we do is we note down our favorite films from each phase, and then we just kind of put it into a calculated list, and then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But with the MCU kind of all tits up right now, we thought let's just
phrase.
let's just see how all the phases have gone. Obviously, phase 4 we will cover later on.
Well, so phase 4 surely does it sound like a little podcast special.
Oh, I could talk about that. I don't want to talk about it, but I could for a while. But yeah, anyway, our list for phase 1, our number 1, our highest, was the Avengers. Collectively, yep. Was the Avengers. Second, Iron Man. Third, Captain America, the First Avenger. 4, Thor. 5, The Incredible Hulk. 6, Iron Man 2. You're laughing because Thor and 4 rhymed. Yeah. I was like trying to space it out so it didn't rhyme too much. But yeah, no. So obviously, Iron Man 2 is last.
Yeah.
And the Avengers is first. What do you think about this list? Is it a good representation of what phase 1 really is?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it now you and I both agreed on the last and the first, 100%. Even second with it being Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more the middle categories, but I think, me personally, I think we know this list fine. Like, it was good. Like, Iron Man 2 is by far the worst. The Incredible Hulk is pretty much like the forgotten one where people don't think about it that often. So that's automatically second to last, and then you obviously have Thor and Captain America as the middles, and then Iron Man. It started this whole superhero fatigue. It's gonna kick in soon. Started it all, and then obviously that 5-year sort of build up towards the Avengers. Everyone questioning whether it could work, like having a team of superheroes and them just absolutely nailing it. In terms of scale back in 2011 days, I mean, crazy, and then obviously fast forward to the future, you get Endgame. It's just like, wow, fuck.
It is, It's pretty mind blowing how it's blowing up.
And I think Loki was a perfect villain. For the Avengers.
Yeah, especially for the first one, the little team of it. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. when I went through this list, I was like, wow, there are like only really 2 movies that I actually like. The Avengers and Iron Man. I don't like Thor 1. I don't like Captain America 1. I don't like Incredible Hulk. I don't like Iron Man 2. Like Cap 1, Thor 1, and Hulk, I think they're fine. They're watchable, but they're not like, I don't think they're good. Like,
groundbreaking.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it. I'm like, this is quite a weak phase. The Avengers, like you said, like everyone was questioning whether it could work, and it really did work. I think Joss Whedon did a really good job with that. And Iron Man starting it all. Yeah. So I was quite surprised about just how weak it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Phase 3 is the peak. Yeah.
That's because where everything started to come together.
Yeah, yeah. But our Phase 2 list now. So our first one for Phase 2 was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Second, Guardians of the Galaxy. Third, Avengers Age of Ultron. 4, Iron Man 3. 5, Ant-Man. And 6, Thor, The Dark World. So, yeah. What do you think about this one?
I think it's very accurate. Hands down, Thor: The Dark World is the worst MCU film.
No, it's not. Thor: Love and Thunder is.
Okay, probably.
It's Thor. It's always Thor.
The Thor curse, but yeah, in this phase, it's hands down that Thor, and it should be rotten. I don't know how it's not rotten.
Yeah.
That surprises me. Like, it should be like down on like Suicide Squad 2016 and Batman v Superman sort of levels.
Yeah.
But everything else above that, like Guardians, fantastic. Considering that it's like a C-list. It's not even B-list or A-list. It's a C-list sort of superhero team, and
now they're A-listers.
Yeah, now they're A-listers. I mean, we're getting games for it now. We're getting spin-offs, specials, 3 films following this as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So kudos to James Gunn and them for realizing that talent and whatnot. And Captain America, Winter Soldier, that was just great for that time, you know. Like it was
one of the best.
Yeah, it was.
MCUs.
It was dark. It was gritty.
Yeah.
It shied away from the MCU formula of like humor and whatnot. Like it still had humor, but not constant. It was more set into realism. It had higher stakes with Shield and Hydra, and then that tension between Steve Rogers and him finding out that Bucky is alive, but he's bad in the Winter Soldier as well.
Yeah. No, you covered it off perfectly there. Captain America, Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, both great movies. Definitely in the top tier of the MCU. Besides that, the middle players like Ant-Man, Age of Ultron, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World. Again, they're not movies that are that great. Like, they're much more enjoyable. Ant-Man, Age of Ultron, and Iron Man 3 are enjoyable movies. But they're nothing to like. They're not great or amazing. Yeah, and Thor: The Dark World is truly bad.
Yeah,
it's not worse than Love and Thunder, because I think Thor: The Dark World is competently made. It's just boring as hell. Love and Thunder is just atrociously bad and extremely unfunny.
Spoiler alert for Phase 4.
Fuck Phase 4. We're not going to cover that one because I'll walk off in anger. But yeah, no, it's a good phase. I think it's where MCU really starts to find itself and understand its identity. And obviously Phase 3 is where they kind of hit all cylinders. So it's a good phase for like Marvel to really move forward through.
Phase 2 was really where they started to introduce Thanos into the bigger picture, and this is the threat that we're up against now.
They started to really understand what they could do with the whole universe. Yeah. No, absolutely. But yeah, no, that's going to do us for today. You've got it all on this episode. Sprayed Nan with fly spray. He hasn't died yet, so he's not a fly.
Mind you, I have not seen that fly since he sprayed me. So hopefully it's a win-win.
It's a win-win because you smell delicious as well.
Yeah,
because of the air freshener. I did that.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
So good.
Like, you didn't even hesitate when you sprayed me. Like, you didn't be like, bro, duck or anything. You just went straight on me. And I was like, oh, shit.
We knew the stakes. We had higher stakes than any Phase 4 MCU movie.
For a
The fly had to go.
friendly fire was definitely off on this one.
I saw the word Nay Slayer on my bear, and I was like, okay, I'm going for it.
Never buying this beer again for us. Only for myself.
All right. So before we sign off, we want to hear your thoughts. Did you agree with everything that we talked about today? Did you agree that I sprayed name was fly spray? Or do you think that Avatar 3 should be a 9-hour limited series on Disney Plus? Whatever it is, whatever you thought, just head on over to our Instagram @MovieGains and we can talk about it some more. If you want more of our content, check out moviegains.com for our 4K movie reviews, box office analysis, and coverage of award season. Remember, we did do our phase 1 and 2 for the MCU on there, so check out our movie list. We'll also be doing phase 3, phase 4, and we got some other good stuff coming out soon.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you do want to keep up to date everything that we post on our website, just join the email newsletter. You'll get a weekly roundup of all of our good posts for the week. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us on whatever platform that you're listening from and turn on those notifications and you'll never miss another one. Thanks again for joining us today. We'll catch you next time. Have a great day. Peace.
See you later.